Hi everyone. Today's Tuesday, November 28th. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform with charts by TrendSpider. We're taking a look at where we are yesterday. We closed at 454.48. Yeah. And today we are down just a little bit. Notice what's going on here in the broad market, a little bit sideways. I haven't said this in several days, but remember, this is how we look at these charts. First, we look at the candle that's currently here, and then we go 2 candles to the left, and we see what's going on with those candles. On a daily perspective, we can see that we've got, well, let's put it on the daily first. On a daily perspective, we can see that 4 days ago, we hit a high, and we have not been able to break that high since then. So that's important, right? The high of last week has not been broken. Today, as we come in, we are below the close of the prior day, but we are above the current open. So we've tried to lift as best we can. Now, in the last couple of days, we've also made lower lows and lower highs. So in my mind, the chart is trying to retrace into an area that is prior support. And so not a ton of arguing, though, in terms of having somebody make a decision and have it move on. We've had very small candle bodies, and today might be another one of those candle bodies, but I do suspect that where we are headed is down into these areas because we're just testing support, right? So that being said, commodity technical advisors have positioned themselves very bullishly in the last week or so. They are often a little late to the party, but sometimes carry quite well into the party. So we could additionally see a fade, another big bounce, and then another fade. And so in this kind of environment where our ribbon is bullish and our Keltner channel is bullish, it's going to be buy the dip. So where would that buy the dip be? Again, 450 to 448 would be ideal. Truly, if we gave all of this back, it would be even better. I don't know that that's going to happen, but what we are going to see are general collapses into these baseline support areas and the pop up. So let's take a look at the 4-hour and see what the morning is bringing us. Notice this was the last high, this was the higher low, we made a new high, now it's coming in and trying to hold this area. But notice, in the 4-hour formation, we can actually see that the region around 455 is the actual breakdown area. So as long as we stay below that zone, bouncing into that zone, you want to watch it creep up as high as it can, and that would be a short. That would be where you'd want to consider the short, somewhere around the 455 to 455.50 region. If you're looking for a long, you would want to wait until it comes down to 453, right? See if it holds that zone, meaning you go to a very tight time frame, watch it start to make higher lows, just like this is, making higher lows, break your resistance area, and then pull back to make another higher low. In the grand scheme of things, that's what's going to give you that motion. If you are thinking, hey, I want to be short, wait for the bounce, right? Don't short this low because that's what everybody's doing, right? Everybody is shorting that low and then they have to turn right around and buy it right back. So how about letting the shorts open up at a resistance area where there's more liquidation for product and then wait until we move down into this zone and all of a sudden the chart bounces, right? So that's really what we're looking for. Above 453, if it comes in and tests it, you want to try the long there and then watch it get up and over your levels into this 454, 454.50 area, right? If we get very granular about it. Otherwise, we'll step down. Bottom of the Keltner channel is somewhere between 451 and 451.50 and 451.80. Those are the regions that you'd want to look for. I think we could give back a little bit today, but that's just me. I do believe that the price action is fairly sideways. All right, next thing. We are going to take a look at the Qs here. Qs, holding well, lower high, also has not made a new high since last week, right? This is Monday, this is the beginning of Tuesday, and so what is the chart doing? Same sort of thing. It's trying to come down into mainline support, and buyers are coming in. So where's the ideal buy zone? You know what? 386.50 to 385.50. There's about $1 there. That would be a nice bounce zone. Set an alert for that. You might get a 0 DTE, but again, if it starts eroding very quickly, you want to get out. It immediately needs to bounce off this zone or it's going to be wrong, right? And then above that area, we have the 384 to 383.50, and that's what's going on. What is the likely top? If you're looking for shorting action, this looks a little bit sideways, so maybe 391.20. If it doesn't immediately start rejecting that area, it could go all the way to 393. So I would say, get out and try again if that's what you're looking for in terms of a short. But my thought is it should come into here and then reject again. Today, consumer confidence, a couple of other things going on. Not really sure in general what we have on the docket today. All right, taking a look at, so let me find out what that is. All right, home price index, that comes on in about 15 minutes. Consumer confidence, Richmond Fed, and, this afternoon money supply. Tomorrow, GDP consensus, that's interesting. Yeah, not a whole lot, but that 10 o'clock might give us something. All right, for the IWM, same sort of thing, except the high it made was on the 15th of November. And so what it is, it's making higher lows and having a clip on this area right here. So my thought is the following. If this continually presses for higher lows, it's going to break out over this edge. Now, I suspect it might break down first rather than going out, but this is troubling if we want it to fall back into the general formation for small caps, right? And so, not sure what we ought to do there, especially since it's sideways, right? We've got high, low, lower, high, higher low, lower high, lower low. So it's a bit of a mess. We go to the daily chart here, and it's still a mess, right? Higher highs, higher lows, lower lows. So I think it's very sideways. We'll see what happens if it can come down into the 175 area. I think that would be a really nice zone to really sort of clip things off. And we really do have a fair bit of diminished volume as people sort of wait around until the GDP. Let's take a look at the ES. I know I spent a lot of time talking about that. ES fading a little bit. Remember, 4552 is the number that I mentioned for us in this zone. It broke it overnight, but we've got 1, 2, this is our third day of lower highs, lower lows. Our last high was on November the 22nd, and although we made a high off of this zone, we closed underneath this area, and so we've got a little bit of a retrace. My supposition is that we fade, so I'm going to look for a bounce into 4561, and if it can't hold 4561, I'm going to take that short, and I'm just going to watch it leap down into 4543, and then potentially 4528, right? That's really what I would like to see in general. Do I think we've got a rotation? Yes. Everybody's talking a lot about bullish stuff, and people are just going to pile on in, and I don't think we see a new high bounce, but there are also a lot of people trying to short this and short it way too early, and they're getting smashed. And so it is what it is. We'll just have to see how that moves in general. All right? So my thought is right now, fades, they're going to be buy zones, but the lower highs are going to give us opportunities to sell. Now that I put it on the 4-hour, I think maybe what I want to watch is 4563 for the short. If I take the short at something under 4563, I'm going to expand my risk in a way I don't really want to. So I'm going to let it see if it gets past 4563 and exhausts like one of these candles, and then I'll take the short and see where it goes. Notice we broke yesterday's low, and we broke the 22nd's low, and so, you know, 45.47 to 45.46 likely to be the region that we head to. Up above, of course, 45.73 to 45.80, and then we should have, if it breaches 45.80, we're going to have stops run all the way to 46.09, because there are people that have, 20, 30-point stops that trade these sorts of markets, and so they're going to be all the way up there. Finally, let's take a look at the Qs. What are we staring at on the monthly? Higher highs for November. This is a very outsized candlestick, as I mentioned, leaking a little bit, right? Just leaking just a little bit, and the fade action pulling in to old support, right? So where's the bounce? It looks like 15,942 is the floor right there. It's making, it has not broken its overnight low for a lower low like the ES has. And so this one is really fairly sideways, right? Although we've got a little bit of a lower high, we've got these higher lows, and that tells me the buying is still intact at the edges. So wait for the edge. Sit on your hands for the good trade. All right? That's going to be it for me, everyone. I'll see you on the platforms. Big note, a meeting popped up into my schedule today, and not going to be able to do a midday update, but what I will be doing is putting up a few trades and putting up some quick explanations of some other trades that I'm seeing come across the horizon. Okay? I will chat with you all in the platforms.